Hello everyone, Link here, back with what is likely going to be the final episode of Surreal vs. Diesel Weasels. Considering that every single game that Surreal has played has been either a 3-4 or a 4-0. And it looks like we might be getting 4-0'd for a third time by Diesel Weasels. Usually I take it pretty hard on myself, especially because I'm undefeated in Tech 4 Diamond League versus Protoss, and that was my first loss versus Protoss, and it was mainly because I was just, too scared of the Oracle, and he was playing quite well, but my teammates were playing far worse than that. Like, I don't know what it is, but sometimes my teammates are like super good and play super solid, and then other times they like drop the ball, like down the sewers, like all the way like to the core of the earth. Like it's like sometimes it looks like they're like Diamond 1, Master 3, and then some other times they're like Gold League. And it's just a matter of like what game. And so far I've just seen a lot of really dumb mistakes. I don't know what it is that my team's doing, but they've made a lot of like very low league mistakes. Like always move commanding, you know. I'm just not sure. I mean, White Cat seemed confident when I put him in, but he was constantly move commanding, wasn't scouting at all, which cost him a lot of economy. And there's a few scenarios where he could have actually pushed across the map, but he didn't, and stood in the middle of the map for like 30 seconds. Like that whole game was kind of just cringy. I thought it was completely one-sided because that's what I was getting from it, but somehow he was trading equally, even though I didn't see almost any units of SpoonMasters dying. So, in the top right, the last hope for RaxCity. Or, for Surreal, it's RaxCity. In the top left, looking to all-kill Surreal. For the third time now, SpoonMaster. I'm not even sure. I mean, I'm probably gonna have a bit of a hard time casting this because I just can't get over the last few games. Because like sometimes I'm like, I just want to go like crazy and just yell at my team, but I know I can't do that because not only are they part of my team, but especially because I might play a little sloppy. But even though I was playing a tiny bit sloppy here and there on my game, my opponents, my allies were playing a lot worse. And sometimes they play super well, sometimes they just don't. So it's really weird in that regard. It seems like it's just kind of a roll of like the D20. Sometimes we nat and sometimes we botch. And today it looks like a botch. Big question is RaxCity, because he has the dreaded golden dice, and which is prone to botching. So hopefully we can see a good lucky RaxCity nat here. Completely destroy SpoonMaster. So at least we're not going to get, at least 4-1 is miles better than 4-0, especially since that'll be the third 4-0 for our team. Gonna see a proxy Stargate here. Looks like a proxy of some kind. Got two gates. Two gates, both making the same thing. Everything so far is mirrored other than this proxy pylon. Okay, he is in range.
I am here in the shadows.
If you put it like here, he actually wouldn't be seen, but he barely is seen. Not now, though, because that Nexus actually pushed the sentry away.
Are falling.
Okay, that probe's killed there. This one's still hanging out here. I think if it were to hide here, if these units didn't move, and he mined probes there, I think they would not get spotted. But he's gonna move in. Perfect timing. Those guys move away. Is he gonna? Yep, he's gonna see it. isn't able to get too much. See his Nexus timing. Rax's Nexus is a little bit further behind. But he's got his units out quicker. Now, oddly, no tech on that pylon. Both the pylon are very quick, but no Stargate, and no Twilight either. Just a Forge right now. Staying on 2 gates. Both players getting Warp Gate. So far, everything's mirrored except the Robo. Yeah, it does seem kind of odd that that SpoonMaster's just waiting now to get his tech, especially since Rax is even ahead on workers, so it's not like he's going greedy and just waiting on tech because of it. Sees Forge. I think Rax should be kind of confused right now, like what the heck? Just started his Robo then. That Robo's already done, bro. So far, with the opening builds, Rax has played slightly better, has a slight worker lead, army supply equal. So far looking kind of good. This pylon here is kind of interesting. I guess he could just use it later on for Warpins, but it didn't seem kind of odd how early he made it. It definitely seemed like a Stargate one, and definitely shouldn't just warp in one Adept. If you're gonna go for like Adepts to kill workers, you need at least 2 of them. Okay, there we go. So there's the second one. I don't think it should do much though, because you get 3 Sentries, 3 Stalkers, and an Immortal about to pop. And Rex's weapons about 10 seconds ahead, a little more than 10 seconds ahead actually. Yeah, so with the Immortal there, I don't think the Adept should do anything. Where's the Shade though? Oh, he didn't see the Shade. Rax didn't see the Shade, that's not good. Surprising, considering he was paying too much attention to his Hallucinate Phoenixes. Yeah, none of his guys are mining right now, so that's huge damage, actually. Not mining at all for, like, a good, 20 seconds or so. He's still not mining, even though this guy's been pulled away. That's definitely a mistake. Just now getting back onto it. It's kind of surprising because he only had 1 Hallucinate Phoenix across the map, so he definitely should have. That's not going to take up enough of your AP, enough of your attention to the point where you can't, you can't see guys that are coming in, because he could see them pretty much for that full Shade. They went all the way in here, and then the Shade ended, so he could see them for a good 5-6 seconds, and they're still alive apparently. Or I think this might be the second wave. Does he see them this time? Please. Please. You saw them, why aren't you moving units? Dude. He's got an Immortal. Okay, they're both gonna die. Before Shade goes. But more damage. And that's put SpoonMaster slightly ahead. Not that ahead though, because he was down a few workers at the start. Let's see Arms play right now. Slightly ahead for Rax. And Immortal count looks like it's ahead for Rax as well. They're both just making nothing but Immortals. He is getting a Templar Archives though. And no other tech choice right now for Rax. So unless he goes for attack early or base early, it's going to end up costing him. He's going to go for a Warp Prism instead. Shard, so it looks like he's going to want to go into Templar. Yep. So thankfully it's not that later. This is going to finish about when that's halfway through. And he's getting a Warp Prism. SpoonMaster's also getting a Warp Prism. This is surprisingly mirrored. This is despite the game being kind of, one side in terms of harassment, but also one side in terms of, build. A starting build, I guess. Is that? Okay, for a second I thought that was a hallucinated Archon, because that looked kind of weird. I was like, wait, I'm not on Rax only vision, so that can't be it. Working in some guys here. I do kind of like that pylon. I was about to say, why wouldn't... the only thing I can think of is why would you put it down that early, and I guess it could be in case of, a third base. on that location, especially if it was like an early third base. He's getting +3 attack here. Does he have... Yeah, neither player is going for armor. They're just going for attack. Rax is about to finish. Actually, he's going to finish right when this attack comes. Because of the shield battery, he is going to win this fight, plain and simple. Didn't quite kill enough to be able to aim move down, though. Yeah, with the shield batteries, he's going to win it. Does either player have Storm? No, neither player has Storm. So there's just... Templar are just for Archons. Observer got out. Build a Nexus behind it, but Rax sees it with the Warp Prism. He actually recalls his army. I feel like that's a bit of a mistake. Because he should know this. City definitely needs to get that guy out of there. Quite a bit of miscontrol, but it looks like... I don't think... Yeah, not only does he not have Blink, he doesn't have any Stalkers either, so it should be able to get out. Oop. Okay, thank God. So, even with a little bit of miscontrol, he's able to save that. So third base, kind of odd. Will he see this? That's the big question. Okay, he does see it. He does see it. He should kill that immediately. Or Prism is coming. Ooh, don't move down. Don't move down. Okay, I think he sees it. Moving guys back. Nope, he's just grouping up units. Still doesn't see it. That's really bad. It's actually really hard to see on the minimap. Okay, sorry, right before the attack came. SpoonMaster's still ahead quite a bit because the Warp Prism really didn't do much harassment. I feel like you never want to use the Warp Prism for like scouting. You don't just want to like scout the third base. Like what he did was he put like some zealots just at the third base that never had any chance of killing it, and nearly cost him his Warp Prism and cost him all his zealots. And the Sim City is actually hurting him quite a lot. I feel like if you're in a Sim City like this, like you really should put some cannons here and there, so that the Warp Prism can't do too much. Especially with Immortals and Archons. These are slow units. What was that sound? Okay, now he's finally splitting up his army, something he should have done quite a bit ago. Dark Shrine. I don't think we have any cannons. I think we have one Observer. Where's it at? It's in the center of his army, okay. So, Dark Shrine shouldn't do too much. Warpin was a little bit of a mistake, because killing Pylon is not going to do too much. If he target fired, he really should target fire the Templar, the Twilight Council right now. Oh! Okay, he knows about the Dark Templar now. So he's gonna, yep, he's making another Observer. Okay, army supply 100 to 88, in fact 88 to 99. And work supply the exact same. So thankfully he was able to kill enough workers to surprisingly be equal on workers supply, despite SpoonMaster killing so much more in this game. Has split up his army here. Honestly, if he gets 2 observers, I would like to see just one observer, like, in observer mode, like right here, rather than split up his army, or get, like, 1 or 2 cannons, because that should, you know, at least buy you enough time for your units to get into the base, so you don't have to split up your army like this, because you know a frontal engagement, which is about to happen right now, is just going to cost you the game. You can't win with half your army against the full force of your opponent's army, especially when they have an extra 10 supply compared to you. Yeah, keeping these units here is definitely an overreaction. I mean, just a few cannons, just 1 observer in good position, and he's moving his units in before it even happens. Thankfully, he can kill the PT. He's a tiny bit late, but yeah, third base dying is really devastating. I forgot about these zealots as well. If he didn't forget about those zealots, it wouldn't hurt him too much. Quite a misplay from SpoonMaster, though. He's up an army, and this is going to end up costing him here. Just running away. He definitely should have stood and fight, because now he's lost a lot more than he should have. No Guardian Shield, no use of the Sentry at all, though. This is surprisingly going the way of RaxCity. He's got quite a good concave. And despite being slightly down for most of this game, it looks like he should be able to win this first fight. Okay, he's finally sending in his zealots. He has to push right now. I think he knows that. I think he really should put a base down. Just a move and put a base down behind it. Because if you don't put a base down behind it, this is just a complete all-in. And these are slow units too. Okay, yeah, War Prism in the main, and then attack the third. That's definitely a good choice. Army's play is 58 to 18. Looks like we might finally get a 4-1 instead of a 4-0. Going into the natural a little risky, but at the same time kind of a good plan. I would have liked to have seen attack the third base and then War Prism in the main, but this is definitely also a good choice as well. He's not moving up the ramp, and he's also not building a base behind it. And with no cannons, the DTs are gonna kill everything. Oh man, that's really rough for Rax. Also keep in mind, Dark Templar do not do too good of a job killing cannons. You need like I think 3 or 4 to completely kill them. He's gonna recall his army, but he doesn't have an observer, so the recall doesn't do anything. He does still have an observer. He's got 2 observer woods in the army. That's definitely, I think, his misplay. Okay, he finally has an observer here, but he needs to start. Wait, oh no, he's got 0 workers, and he has 45 minerals. He's also been pretty slow to attack this base, but he's warped in mostly Dark Templar, and that's not going to be good because he has observers. So I think this should still go in the way of RaxCity. The big misplay he's making right now is keeping both observers here. If he had 1 observer here, okay, he does. Okay. SpoonMaster GG's. A little bit of an early GG because I don't think he knew that he had an observer in his base, because if he did, the Dark Templar would have been able to possibly win a base trade if he just put pylons all over the map. But finally my team manages to win one, so thankfully we're at least not going to get 4-0'd. I'll see you guys in the next game.